Hey guys, welcome to Heartway Farms. How are you doing this evening? And we are going to have a great night, I think, here, hopefully. We've got a couple people jumping on already here, so.
And we have the whole family here with us. They're gallivanting in the background. So they're here somewhere. So we've got everybody. We can't all 8 fit like right between these two little things here. So,
all right, real quick, let's just give some background. We're going to have our gingerbread event going on. It's kind of a combination of gingerbread and homesteading talk and just general Q&A. So we will be bringing some people on and off throughout this live event. And we will also be providing a link that if you're interested in joining, we're going to give a link to you that you can just click on the link and follow the instructions through there. And then you'll show up in the bottom bar on our side of the screen that we can bring you on live once we are ready. So if we cut you off, excuse me, if we cut you off, it's not because
we don't love you.
We're cutting you off. It's because we're just moving along to some different people with some different questions.
So while everyone's getting on, just where's everybody watching from today? I saw Penny on there. I thought that was funny. You're here with your bells on, but not really. That's funny.
Yes.
So where's everybody watching from? Merry Christmas. It's coming up. Sunny South Carolina. Is it sunny? It was raining in North Carolina yesterday. We were talking with Sow the Land, and
yes.
They had some rain.
Yes,
we got people coming on. So that's
we had a lot of rain the last few days, and then all of a sudden winter arrived here. So.
Yeah, who else had winter suddenly today?
Yes.
We certainly did. All right, we got, Wisconsin. You guys had winter too with us here.
Yeah. So, like I said, just a real quick recap. If you've got any questions or Q&A type stuff, feel free to throw those in the chat bar as we are talking here, and we will try to get to them. And we've got the kids on board back here with us, and we're going to be jumping on with some other people live throughout this event here. So,
do you want to do intro?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're still just giving everybody a few minutes to get on. We see all places.
7. Oh, I'm doing this at 8. We're doing 8.
All right.
No, we're doing 8.
All right, we'll keep letting everybody get on for.
Alrighty. We've got a lot of fun locations: Ohio, Wisconsin, Connecticut.
All right, what else? While we're waiting here to get into gingerbread houses and different things, I was looking at the date the other day and I just couldn't hardly believe how close to the new year we are. What is everybody up to these next couple weeks? What are you doing? Do you have plans with family for the holiday? How do you celebrate this time of year with your family? I'd like to hear what everybody is up to, because we did, do we have a picture? We don't have a picture of that or whatever.
No.
Something that we did the other day, and it was really fun, is we went out to eat, which is nice to just not have to make dinner. But we went out to eat, and then we went and drove to a nearby city where we went to a nice restaurant. And then we went to a Kris Kringle market, which was really fun with handmade products. And Julianne picked out like a handmade mug, which was really cute. And
we got to drive through
an extensive
a festival of
light
lights.
show. Oh my goodness. An extensive light show.
Yes.
Starting to get some snow in Indiana. I see. Yeah. We suddenly have winter today.
Winter is upon us.
Which the kids were excited. You know what they did? Jesse and Tabitha. The rest of us who have to do chores, we're not excited. But Jesse and Tabitha went and got a nice, good-looking blue tarp and made a snow fort right in my front yard so that everyone who comes to the property can see our nice blue tarp.
Blue tarp
fort
yes.
sitting there. So they went and got blankets and a tarp, and it was just kind of funny. All right. So you want to put up what Teresa says. So Teresa said, this year we decided to just have it be my husband and I, and along with our pets. Man, you can't beat pets. They're quiet. They don't talk.
They don't
back.
usually complain too much, right?
Okay. Wait, you gotta draw too.
We got snow all day.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been doing rain in a lot of parts, and then today it just switched to, so we had like some flooding even in our driveway and stuff, and then switched to snow and ice, and now we're getting real cold weather, very, very cold. So it's gonna be
All right, let me
chilly.
get this in here. We're gonna put a link down here if you want to join live. If you have the capabilities of your microphone and camera, you can go ahead and click the link that we just put into the comment section there.
We already have we have 2 different new friends waiting. You guys can't see them, but we can see them, that we're going to pull up, and we're going to get to know some other people. And we are going to show Julianne's gingerbread house in just a little bit. But before we get into that, I wanted to, when Josh is done, hopefully my kids, they're all just playing in the background. I'm going to be too loud. So we do, Julianne makes our homemade gingerbread. So I'm not responsible. Julianne, show your face. Where are you? So Julianne made our homemade gingerbread house, and we actually have a whole video coming out in about a week. I think it's on Friday, I think Thursday or Friday coming up, on her whole process, start to finish. But not all of us are that fancy. So some of us do. I saw this idea a long time ago, and I'm sure you guys are like, oh, that's old news. Of course we all do that. But I had never seen this. And like years ago, we started using graham crackers for the kids to make their own little mini gingerbreads instead of making homemade for everybody. Oh my goodness, that would be so much homemade gingerbread. So we have been making little gingerbread fun things, and we'll see if Josh can get these up here.
All right.
Okay, so so there's Tabitha's. She needed a whole cookie sheet for hers. She took over the whole thing and did that. And then Elise likes to go big or go home, so she made a castle of some sort. Jesse was very pleased because his stayed up this year for the first time ever.
Yes.
For the first time ever, his stayed up. Okay, so William had some help from his siblings.
I think he went with the deconstructed style of house here, huh?
Yeah, so William went with the dinosaur approach with, low effort,
He
but
didn't
high,
wanna make it.
He
didn't want to make any, so he just I just
destroyed.
literally.
Elise, Miss Penny says it's great to see you in a picture here. Okay, I'm telling her right now, wherever you are. Okay, Julianne made a very beautiful, detailed gingerbread house there. Okay.
Uh-oh.
No, dun dun dun. Marie's was an individual one.
There we go.
Okay.
Where's our film crew? Miss Marie didn't want to be in the picture, right?
Well, she was
taking the
photos, so she wasn't. It's like typical. It's typical how moms are never actually in any of the photos because they're always the ones taking the photos. It's the same thing with Marie. She's our photographer, so she's never in any of the photos. So anyway, so those are ours, and we'll get to our pretty gingerbread house in just a little bit, but I'd like to get to know these other folks that are down low here.
All right, who we're gonna have jump on here?
So let's go from the roots up. They were on here first, so let's get them.
All right,
get them up here. Are you guys ready? Are you?
There we
hey
go.
Everybody, can you? There now. Okay, good. I can hear you again. We checked it before, but I wanted to make sure. I would love to hear. First of all, who you are, where you're from, and just give us some information about you guys, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
So we are a little homestead. We built this house last year. We just moved in about a year ago, and we've been working on basically building our homestead from the roots up. We're outside of Ada, Oklahoma, and we've got 2 little girls, and we homeschool and homestead, and he works 2 jobs outside of that. So
there we go. So what are you guys doing at the homestead there? What do you guys raise?
Right now we've got turkeys, chickens, and lots of garden space.
There we go. All right.
That's awesome. where do you, does everyone do it as a team, or is it like certain people are in charge of certain things, or how do you guys run it there?
We very much are a team. We very much all do everything right now.
Sounds like a
There's
plan.
some projects that, you know, the girls are more excited about than others. Like Michaela, what's your project that you're super excited about?
I have a flower farm.
Yeah, she has her own little flower farm business, and
Oh, that's awesome.
and Taylor's planted 12 fruit trees this fall.
Wow. That I like the sounds of that there. That's
Yeah, you're speaking Josh's language right there, because
best time to plant a tree was last year, right?
well, or like 5 years ago in our case, we,
I'm
you
just
know,
kidding.
here, buddy, I need you to sit. Come on, you're getting kind of big to be on my lap, but I'll take it while I can. But yeah, we, you know, other projects always take precedence, it seems, unless you just like make the effort to plant fruit trees. Then it never, you know, other things always come first. So we always tell people do that right away. Like, you know, plant your fruit trees right away, even though we are guilty of not doing it for 5 years. We did it at our other house. And then, you know, it just, there were so many things all at once when we started homesteading and stuff, you know, that took
Right.
precedence. So
what was your guys' biggest success this year at the farm? Homesteading, what would you say was the thing that you enjoyed the most or had the most success with?
Probably Michaela's little flower farm
Flowers.
business.
Yeah.
She
Yeah?
did amazingly well, and she outdid us all at the farmers
Love it.
market.
Teaching them that entrepreneurship at a young age and how to get after it. And
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
It's like my dream to like have, fresh cut flowers like every day in my house. It's one of my favorite things. It just brightens up the room and is such a beautiful treat to have. So to be able to turn that into a little business is very successful. We know some very successful local florists in the area
Yeah.
that grow their own stuff and do it. So why not start young? You know, that's one of the things that I love so much about homeschooling, and maybe you guys can relate, and whoever else is listening might be a little to relate, that the kids, not only do you know, use curriculums and teach them all the typical stuff that you're supposed to teach them, but they have the opportunity to thrive in these little businesses or things that they love and are good at. And we've experienced that with our kids. It's just fun to see kind of what they grow in and what really, where their, you know, niche is. And it's really, really a neat opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah,
all right, so
that's
Mommy, I
Oh,
can
go
see
ahead.
them on here.
what was that one more time?
I just said that's really one of our favorite parts about homeschooling for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So what do we got here for some gingerbread houses? I see it almost looks like a farmscape.
We have our garden and
Okay.
Michaela's flower section, and we have tomatoes and squash and cabbage, and then we have our dog house and our chicken house, and then there's the house.
That's awesome, you guys. That's really, was it a team effort or did someone take the lead? I want the truth here.
It was pretty much a big team effort.
That's awesome. I can claim no responsibility for ours. So you're totally fine. Whatever. You know, Julianne did it all by herself.
So from the roots up, is that your YouTube channel name, and where are you guys at with as far as how long you've been doing it for?
We've been at this house just for a year. This is our first year. We vision of doing it for several years, and just kind of waiting for things to fall into place that we could build and move out here. And the YouTube channel started about the time that we moved in, just a couple of months after, trying to hopefully document our projects and our progress as we go along. More of our YouTube has been inside this year, cooking and things, because this is one of the problems. Building a new house, we didn't also build barns and fences and pens, and like those are going to have to slowly come over time. So we're looking forward to that being part of the progress, you know.
Awesome. So you guys are a year into it now, and you're starting to get things going here. We got a young business going on here with some flower sales, and that sounds awesome.
All right, we're going to go ahead and go. We're going to downsize. You stay on, you guys, though, okay? And we're going to come back. But let's move on to the next family.
Yep.
I was going to say contestant, but it's not really.
All right,
not really
real quick for
contested.
those who just joined as well, in the feed, we have a link that we put on there. If you want to join us live and you have the capabilities, go ahead and click that link and follow it, and then you'll show up down at the bottom of the screen, and we'll pull you up here when we have an opportunity. So like I said, click that link and join us. And make sure that you're throwing questions out in the feed.
Yeah, for us or for anyone else that's on
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Every
for sure.
free game if you're a part of it. It's okay.
All right, who are we going
Jesse,
with
maybe
next
you're
here?
a little too close there. Yeah. Hey, the Homemade Haven. I love the name. It's fun. How are you guys doing?
We're good. How are y'all?
Doing
Good.
good.
And tell us, you kind of heard what the other guys did. Tell us who you are and around where you live, whatever you want to tell us. We'd love to get to know you.
Okay. Well, I'm Brooke. This is Robert. We have a daughter, Reagan. She's hiding right now. She's a little camera shy.
Totally understand. That's fine.
Yeah. But we homestead and we homeschool as well. I'm a stay-at-home mom. Robert is a realtor here in our area, so he's gone a little bit
Busy.
here and there. Yeah, busy.
Yeah.
All right, so mom works more than Robert. I got you.
That's
Standard.
my escape. If I
Yeah.
hang around here, she'll put me to work. So
That's right. That's
I
right.
go to
That's
my
all
job
good.
to get away from the work here.
Yeah, yeah.
He stays a little cleaner going to work outside of the house anyway.
That's right.
There you go. What part of the country you guys from?
So we're in Eastern North Carolina. We're right on the coast by the beach, right
Oh,
next
man,
to.
rub it in.
I know. Which we are jealous of the snow. We have like a 2% chance of snow on Christmas Day, and we're all like, yay!
Like
Yeah.
holding out hope for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, we're right next to the biggest Marine Corps base in the country. So very transient, lots of military in our area. But we do have a lot of local farmland around us. So our type of homesteading is kind of newer to our area. You know, we're kind of like the younger generation that's kind of bringing it back up. And there's a few other families that are doing the same. We're just trying to grow our own food and be more sustainable and kind of get that message out to the other locals in the area too. So we just built our dream home this year.
Nice.
So-
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've been here for about 6 months now, and just slowly building up as well from the roots up.
It's a great name. That
I love that name.
It is.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's a great name. So we got our gardens in and were established before we even moved into the house. So
Yeah.
the gardens were going. So we had a really good garden year. We put up a lot of food, a lot of preservation, and we got chickens right away. And then we just got pigs recently.
Yep.
So
Okay. So how much property you guys on?
32 acres.
32 acres. All right.
Wow. So you're starting strong,
There
right?
Most of it was 32 acres of pure woods.
yeah,
And so
Okay.
we've got cleared about 4, maybe 5 acres that will
that
we'll
we'll maintain.
manage.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have 32 acres of pure silvopasture then. So you got something to work with there, some shade, right? So you
Lots
can
of
cut out
shade.
some,
Yeah.
you can
Too
cut
much
out
shade.
space and have some more pasture space, but you got those trees already there for you. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
lots of land for hunting, which has been good.
Right.
Yeah, I saw someone hanging on a wall back there that's looking over your shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of
Well, that's a Texas deer though.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say that's not a North Carolina deer.
No.
So how long have you been on your property for?
We've owned the land for 2 years.
Okay.
But we really didn't start doing anything out here until about almost a year. It was really the beginning of this year. We started building some raised garden beds and doing stuff like that.
Awesome. And you guys are obviously on YouTube with the Homemade Haven.
Yes.
All right.
We are. We've been on YouTube for. I think that we're going into our.
3rd year.
We're going into our third year.
Yeah, we've been 2 full years.
Awesome.
Christmas time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's really fun and exciting. And it's just, it's, it's funny with your saying wanting snow. Isn't it just so typical? Like you just want whatever you
Yeah.
Whatever you can have.
I love snow too. I really do for like this time of year. But then come like January and February, I'm kind of done with it. Like, especially
for
when you're
spring.
trudging to the back, the back 40, as we call it, to go take care of like the sheep or whatever, it's like, oh my goodness, I have to walk back there again, in the snow.
it. Yeah.
Anyway.
We do have a gingerbread.
Yep, show it off, girl.
Yes.
Scooch it in. Let me see if we can do it without breaking it.
That's always the test.
Or move the
Push
camera
the
down.
camera down.
There you go.
Easy. There
Oh,
we go.
look at you guys. How
Down, down.
Oh wait, wrong way. There we go.
There are critters on there. I see the cow and I see the chickens.
Their farm even has a tractor.
I know our farm doesn't have a tractor. We're doing it with muscles only,
That's awesome.
Good job, you guys. That's really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, the barn is really good. Really very good. Yeah.
All right.
Now when we do gingerbread.
That
Okay,
was
hold on
great.
just a
Great
second.
job.
Oh wow, look at my whole crew came in. They're all here. See, Penny, now you can see everybody if you're still there.
And we got a cat.
And a cat.
You got that? What's your cat's name?
What's her name?
Fisher, and another one's named Autumn, and one
Well,
we're
let's
gonna
see.
sell black and white
Let's see who's watching. But this kitty's name is Veronica Fisher. I'm curious
Fisher.
if anyone knows what movie that's from. So anyway, well, thank you guys so much. Stay on, and we're gonna put you down, and we'll bring up. I see one more group of people on here, so we'll do it. Thank you. You guys did really good.
All right. That's fun. I like that barn.
That was pretty good to get that to stay up with that shape.
Our barn is
Okay.
leaning.
The barn is
We've already got a sideways.
Yeah,
barn.
we have a 100-year-old, well, plus 100+-year-old barn, which has a nice little built-in lean to it here at our property. So, all right.
All right.
New Jersey Lee.
Here we go.
All right.
We can hear
Okay.
you.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. Hello.
We didn't get to pre-talk with you, so we're just putting you on the spot here, which is okay. It's totally fine. So tell us who you are, around where you're from, whatever you're comfortable feeling, and we're just so glad you guys are on here with us. So,
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us on. My name is Eric, and this is Monica, and we are Bland's Promised Land Ranch down here in the great state of Texas.
oh, Texas in the house, right?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So you guys are in Texas. Texas is a pretty big state. So where we're around.
We're on the northeast quadrant, close
Okay.
to that. We're close to Dallas, about
Okay.
40 miles east.
Okay.
Awesome.
But we didn't grow up here. We actually grew up and were born and raised in Maryland.
Okay.
And then about 8 years ago, we picked up our entire family. We had 7 kids at the time, and we picked up our family and we moved to Texas. The Lord just said, hey, you got to go. And so we moved here. Yeah. And we started our farm here. We didn't live on land or anything like that in Maryland. We lived in a townhome with our family. So we went from a townhome with a very tiny yard to 10 acres here in Northeast Texas. So this has been a really fun adventure for us.
Awesome.
Wow, that's a big adventure for
And
sure.
I may have missed it. So how long have you been at the property now then?
8 years. 2014, we came down here to Texas and we kind of just went in just everything all at once. Eric, we got here in August and I think Eric said, hey, let's get some cattle. And it was September. So
Oh no. At
we
least
just went all in.
I was gonna say you sound a little southern. I'm just gonna say I think the Texas is wearing off on you guys. You don't quite have the East Coast twang, anymore.
Yeah. Well, when I get mad enough, the Baltimore comes back out. But it just depends on what day of the week it is.
That's awesome. It's kind of like when I get around my Florida cousins, I start sounding southern. I don't know what happens. It just happens. They just are so fun. So,
Yeah.
So what? You mentioned cattle. What else do you have there at your homestead?
We have all kinds of stuff down here that we tend to, and all of our kids take a full responsibility in the different types of animals. So we have, as we said, cattle, we have hogs, rabbits, chickens, ducks, turkeys, rabbits. Did I say rabbits?
Yeah, rabbits, Muscovies, of course.
Your
Duck.
voice is coming from the background.
Yes,
Are
yeah.
there children in the background? Show yourself.
My 8-year-old's over here. Come here. You can come in here, Simeon. This is my Muscovy and turkey handler.
Okay,
So this
that's
is my-
Marie right behind me. Oh, I can't do it. It's backwards. That's my
Yeah.
Marie.
Yeah,
Hello?
that's my turkey handler right here. He's in charge of all the turkeys and he does my Muscovy ducks. So yeah, we've got kids that help out with everything, all the way down to the 6-year-old, because we have 8 kids total.
Okay.
Our oldest is married, and so we only have 7 that live at the house now. And yeah, all of them help out with different animals on the farm, and that's the best part about it is they all have different jobs that they help with. So yeah, we love it.
It makes it fun.
We
I'm 8.
understand. Yes, you're 8.
I'm 8.
Correct.
I'm
You are 8.
Yes, he's 8. He's 7 in line, but 8. So he's the last one that was born in Maryland. So
Very cool. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And the Homemade Haven, they forgot their rabbit.
Yes.
I forget animals too. So you are not the only one. I'm like, oh yeah, we do have that. I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot we had that.
Yeah. It's weird because sometimes depending on animals, what animals are having babies at the time, that's the one we're most focused on right now. We've got some kits out there in the barn with the rabbits, and we're down to only a few pigs right now. So it's like, depending on what animal is active, that's the one we usually don't forget, but yeah.
I forgot to ask, you guys are up so I can ask you in person, but anyone that I already talked to who has pigs, I would love to know what breed you're raising and which, if you have a preference, like between certain types of breeds, or like don't do this or whatever. I would love to hear people's opinions on that. So what do you guys have for your hogs?
So we originally started with potbelly pigs, and that was because they were donated to us.
Yeah, that happens.
That's kind of how we started our adventure with pigs, and then we got into full-size pigs. So we have our two main breeders is a red wattle and a Tamworth.
Yeah, we've got heritage breeds that we were really fortunate to stumble into. A lady had some, and she had already had them paired up. They had already been proven as a couple. And so she was just getting out of just raising hogs. And so we said, we'll definitely come take them. And the red wattle is my girl. And she has had, amazing litters. We let her breed twice a year. We don't push her, but we also kind of leave her with her boyfriend because he gets kind of mad when he's not around her. Yeah. So, and he's a big dude. He's a Tamworth and he's full size. He is easily 400 pounds.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
More? We've got 500 pounds.
He's at least 500 pounds.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
His head across his jawline is probably about 18 inches. He's massive.
And we like that combination because the red wattle offers us great hams and like shoulder roasts and all those big roasts. And then the red wattle is more of a longer. She's got that belly on her, so we're able to pull from that combination. We have a really nice turnout of bacon and hams, and that's what we really like. We've been doing them for about 5 years now, and I think we're getting ready to retire them and start some new sow and boar here on the ranch. But they've given us really nice pork, and we typically have people coming and reserving their next piglet because they have liked what they've had. So I like those breeds. I like the way they grow, and we're actually going to go pick up one of our feeders from our own two breeders, and we're going to pick them up tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to it because they usually turn out really nice. That's
meat. Really good feedback. We have, the one pig we had doesn't count. I'm not even going to get into that. It was a gift pig as well. Yeah, we've learned not to accept most gifts from people, but that way, you know what I mean? But we haven't taken the plunge into hogs yet. And I just am gathering information. we're kind of in that stage because there's a lot of choices out there. And I'm trying to tread lightly and try to figure out some stuff before we do it.
Yeah. And big pigs, keep in mind, big pigs will tear up your land. I mean, they will move, and people are going for the coonies now. Everybody's like, oh, coonies, they don't root. They're amazing. And I am sure that for a lot of people, they are amazing. Right. But pigs root, pigs dig, and they're going to bust into things. So just remember, whatever pigs you get pig fencing, get hog fencing, and train them on hot wire. train them on some hot wire, because that has been the biggest help for us is training on hot wire, putting a layer of just a 1 or 2 strands of the poly wire. Doesn't have to be fancy. Put that poly wire on the inside of your fencing. When you put it up, train them to stay off the fencing, because if you can keep them off your fencing, it's going to be a lot better in the long run. We've learned that one the hard way. We've rebuilt fences, and
There's a tip that I give to people a lot of times. We try to help families when they're getting into this type of lifestyle. And the one thing that I found out that nobody ever took time to tell me, and I'm not sure why it took me so long to learn this, is cattle fencing is for cattle, not for hogs.
There's a reason there's cattle fencing and pig panels, right?
Yeah, there you go.
For that.
I know pig fencing is short because they have a hard time jumping. So there might be part of the clue right there, right?
Yeah.
They like to go under versus going over.
Well, it's good
Well,
advice, and at some point we might take the plunge on pigs, but we just haven't done it yet. You know, we have what? Oh, voice coming from behind me. There's so many people in the room. You know, we raise a large group of grass-fed lamb. We do the chickens, the ducks.
Yeah.
We have one steer, and he's for us, and that's why it's like you have to guess on what time of year, what animals you have too, because it depends who's being processed and who's not, and all of that.
Yeah.
So he won't be here much longer. Oh my, sleeping. He won't be here much longer.
So you guys have been doing this for 8 years now.
Yep.
Besides the pig fencing, this year, more specifically, what was your biggest success of the year that went well for you at the farm? I know that's a tough one.
Wow, the biggest success. We didn't lose any cows.
We did lose cows.
Oh, we did lose cows. That's right. Never mind. I take that back.
Do you breed the cows on site there, or do you AI them, or like what do you got going on there?
So we actually work with quite a few different pastors. Some older folks that don't want to put the time into their land. I've approached them and asked them to use their land.
Okay.
Some of them I lease, some of them I don't. But it's afforded us to be able to expand our cattle operation. So I think that I don't know. I think one of the biggest successes actually would be us being able to sell our cattle. We were able to sell several of our calves this year and at prices that we typically sell at, because I wasn't willing, the market just dropped out with calves. And so everybody was taking them to the sale barn and getting very minimal amount of money, but we were still able to sell ours at a very reasonable price, make some profit, and be able to buy hay. Oh, that's a success right there.
Getting hay was one of our successes because we had it was a really hard time here in North Texas. Hay bales that normally would sell between $50 and $80 last year, we're selling for $130 a round bale. When you are, and we don't have that many cattle, we don't have that many animals, but when we had to stock our hay at least 90 high, we had to have 90 bales of hay for our farm. And when you're looking at 90 bales of hay at over $100 a bale, that's really expensive. And we're not into that type of, we don't have that type of money.
No.
So
I mean,
really huge blessing for us, because as we were coming into needing hay, the Lord would put people in our path and say, here, this is how I'm going to provide for you. And we watched the Lord provide in amazing ways, whether it was selling one cow to be able to provide for the hay that we needed that way, or all of a sudden a man saying, hey, those two really old cows, I like those, I want them. And we were like, wait, those old cows, we were going to just have to take them for processing. No, he paid great money for them. And that covered a lot of hay. And it was a huge blessing. So, but I have to say, I think that, and being able to buy hay, but also being able to provide our own meat at all the holidays and stock up and know that we have that was a huge deal for us. Hey, Gather Together Homestead. Yeah, it was a huge deal for us. We were able to provide turkey for all of our holidays this year.
Nice.
Turkeys, our own hams. We're providing our own meat for all the holidays. And I haven't bought ground beef in the entire year. I've not bought beef outside of the home, outside of our own meat, for at least an entire year. And that's a first for us, is to not be able to buy like meat like that outside of the home. The only meat that I still buy every now and then is chicken, because I don't have enough meat chickens because of a family our size. What do
you got to say, Eric? Tell us. What are you thinking? You're shaking your head. Tell us what you
I don't like chickens. That's what
he can't stand that I have to buy meat chicken, chicken, because my kids enjoy it. Even though we raise rabbits.
Yeah.
Our rabbits didn't produce as well as we had hoped this year. And so we don't have enough white meat that way to provide. So I have to go buy chicken. And he's just like, why are we buying chicken? And I'm like, chicken?
We've got rabbits, we got pork, we got beef.
Yeah.
We love, I'm going to be honest. You guys might be able to relate. I don't, and especially like from the roots up and the homemade haven. If you guys have done meat birds, and you guys too, it's not my favorite thing to do. This year, we all share stuff we all share responsibilities for sure. But this year was my year. So some reason following that, taking care of the meat birds and moving them and feeding and watering them and all that. Now everybody, I kind of take a backseat on harvest day. I don't actually have to do any of that. I'm there. I'm like the assistant, like I'll get you this, I'll do the defeather, I'll do the whatever. But actually the raising process is not my favorite. But I do love at the end of the day having a huge chest freezer full of whole chickens just ready to go. And then we can them up too and put them in the root cellar. And it's actually really good. Some people are like, ew, canned chicken. Yeah. It's actually really good.
I finally started teaching myself how to can meat this year. And so canning meat, canning leftovers. I mean, I put mashed potatoes in a jar with roast beef. I did roast beef and mashed potatoes, and my kids were like, "You're putting mashed potatoes in that?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." And a month later, I sat down, I popped open a jar and had roast beef with mashed potatoes in it. And I'm sitting there with a fork eating it out of the jar. And they were like, "What in the world?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm eating mashed potatoes and roast beef. That's what I'm doing right now. Y'all could eat your mac and cheese, but I'm enjoying myself tonight."
I worked hard for this stuff,
Yeah. And that was my meal that I had made, and I knew where it came from. So it was awesome that I could do it. So yeah, canning meat, it's a great thing too. So no problem with that.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Did you do a gingerbread, or are you just talking? It's totally fine.
We have a gingerbread community, if you will, because we had everybody wanted to take. I've been doing Vlogmas, and so my children have been taking part. And we did this 2 nights ago. We finished it yesterday. So here we have. I gotta start this way. There you go. Now we got this one. We got some of the littles. Go ahead and go this way, Eric. Eric is taking he's going through. Yeah. So we've got 8 houses.
Yeah.
8 houses. We've got our truck in the background with our brand on the side, and all the way over to the house over here. So, yes.
Is that it?
I think so.
It is so good, you guys.
Yeah, so we did the whole menagerie of houses. We got all the kids. We even did the truck with the Christmas trees. It was all a family thing.
Are those Fruit Loops on the on the
tree? Oh yeah. We got Fruit Loops. We've got all kinds of stuff. You got to do what you got to do.
So is that homemade gingerbread, or did we use some type of cutout?
Well, first we wanted to ask a question. Is this a contest before I answer that question?
It's really not. It's no. As anti-participation awards as I am.
No, actually, my family decided that they wanted to share the flu and strep throat at the beginning of December. And so I started a Vlogmas just for fun. I don't usually vlog. Our channel is not vlogging. But starting December 1st, I started vlogging for fun. And immediately our children decided they wanted to get the flu and get incredibly ill. So we've been sick pretty much the entire month. And so just a few days ago, they started feeling much better. And so I said, we're going to go buy some gingerbread kits, and we're going to do this thing because I've been wanting to do this. And so you all doing this propelled me into making sure that we finished a tradition that we always do. So I'm glad you did this tonight. So thank you, because we have been so sick that it's been something that the kids have just been, we're just like, we don't feel like doing anything. So this week I said, no, we're doing our gingerbread. So this was fun.
Make your gingerbread.
Well, you guys, you did an amazing job. So very good job. And I'm glad. I don't care if it's store-bought, just get rid of that sickness and keep everybody healthy and buy gingerbread. I don't care.
There you go.
So we're going to downsize you guys, but stick around. We'll see. We're going to I want to work back with some of the other questions that were brought up too through people. If people have time, if anyone has to go, no shame. We understand. It's Friday night. We understand it's busy, but I got here. So you want to get, so let's work through. Yeah. We're going to roll something real quick just because, it's fun. And Julianne did a good job on our gingerbread house. So we're going to, show you guys ours. I'll show you the real one. It's sitting right in front of me.
And real quick, anyone who's just joined, down in the comments there, you can go ahead and click the link if you want to jump on and come live. You just click that link and follow it through, and then you'll pop up on the bottom here. So, all right, let's find this here and go.
All right, so ours is small but mighty, and like I said, I take no credit. Ooh, I gotta go really high.
You lost the lights off.
I
of
did
it there.
lose my lights. So anyway, Julianne made it, and she made a pretty one. And my favorite part are these little. Ooh, I'm backwards. Are my little windows that she made with Jolly Ranchers, which is really fun. So anyway, Julianne has, our fun
Eric,
ones.
it's okay. Don't feel defeated. I know that there's a little bit of a cringe going on there. Yeah.
I like the Fruit Loops. There's no shame.
Yes.
I am there with you. Your community was awesome. This is not a competition. Thank goodness.
Or is it?
No, I'm just kidding.
Or
But here, let's go back. Okay, friendly reminder for anyone that just got on. These are what are real, like when all of our kids are having fun making gingerbread houses. We use the graham crackers. So those are store-bought too. So I'm right there with you guys. So you can just scroll through them so people can see if people are just showing up. So this is what the kids do. Well, there's the cool lights again, the fancy one. I mean, I'm sorry to rub it in your face, but there's the fancy one.
It's okay,
again.
Eric.
But there's Julianne's fun one. She's never too old. Julianne is going on 18, and she is not too old to participate and have fun and make cute little candy. I go to the dollar store, you guys, and I just buy cheap stuff and have fun doing that. I mean, you gotta love Williams here. If no one saw that,
the
this was
deconstructed gingerbread house.
Hey,
Yes.
I didn't have an idea.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it came together.
This
Kind
is
of.
this is what I call the lazy gingerbread house maker, who's like, okay, how can I make this cool with doing the least amount of work? And this is how you do it right here. So William gets the lazy gingerbread award right there with the dinosaur. Jesse was, I'm repeating myself, but Jesse was so pleased that his stood up tall and strong and didn't fall. It was the first year it didn't fall, so he was thrilled about that. Who else do we have? Elise always goes big. She made a castle last year. I wish I had last year's picture because that was like, at this one started off looking like Alcatraz, and I was like, I'm not sure that this is really, what we're going for. So anyway, but it turned out real good and cute. Anyway, so, and Marie's is in here somewhere. I don't know.
The first one.
Oh, did we start with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Tabitha, she made mostly like a candy explosion on the ground, whatever. So those are what our real ones look like. But Julianne makes sure and keeps us,
I'll
Penny says.
I'll just scroll back here because I know that someone wants to see it again here real quick. So sorry, Eric.
So it's So anyway, Julianne keeps us going strong on the pretty decorations. Thank you. It was fun. And again, Julianne makes the pretty ones. So these are some of our over the years, our Christmas traditions have changed and morphed, and they look different today than they did 10 years ago. I don't know.
For sure.
But the gingerbread house thing is just something that, like I said, even my, all the way from 18, it's backwards. Where's Julian? 18 down to 8. Everyone gets excited about it and has fun, and they kind of have their own little competition, in making their stuff. And so it's really fun. And then we tend to go see lights and enjoy doing that. We like to make paper snowflakes and put them on the windows. And these kids are amazing.
Yeah, we had a bunch of this in the video last year that we did for the holiday stuff too.
And our holiday stuff last year. It hasn't changed that much from last year. So it's a lot of fun. But so that's our gingerbread house. Everyone did a really good job. It was fun. I love big families too, of course, even though people look at you funny at the grocery store. Let's go to Homemade Haven real quick.
Homemade Haven. Let's pull them up here. Hang on. Let me
Ready or not, guys. Here we come back. All right.
Oh, I can't.
All right. You there? We got them.
Still no appearance of the child.
No,
She's still hiding.
And then, so while we were asking questions, so you guys do, what were you doing for dual purpose birds this year? You said, I didn't get to read it all because I was multitasking, but.
We got some American breast chickens.
Okay.
Yep. And they're originally from France and then came over to America here because they were such a world-renowned bird, I guess. So we had to get some for ourselves. There's a couple other YouTube channels that had been throwing around that name, and I found someone somewhat local to us that was a breeder. So we got some to try out, and we just did our first batch last week. And we just had our first one for dinner a couple nights ago. And compared to like the jumbo Cornish cross that we raised before, I mean, it's more of an athletic bird. Like I said, they free range with our egg layers every day. They're just all integrated together. But the meat was like delicious. It was very flavorful. We were really happy with it. So
What was the name of them again?
American breast,
American.
BRESSE.
Okay.
Yeah, and as far as like the daily moving them and stuff, we
Yeah.
did that at our last house when we had the Cornish, and
They smell.
it's completely different. Yeah, here it's just normal chicken maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Do you
Yeah,
guys
and
do
they-
much easier.
go ahead.
And they lay eggs too. They're supposed to be very proficient in laying eggs. They haven't started laying eggs yet. They're right at like 15 weeks.
Okay.
now.
So soon though, you should, I mean, is it around 18 weeks or so that you start seeing laying with them?
Yeah, they said even as early as 16 weeks they can start
Okay.
laying eggs. Yeah. So
How many did you process out?
we did
We did-
6 of those
Yeah.
because we
Okay.
started with 15 to begin with, and I think 8 of them were roosters.
Yeah,
Oh,
this,
gosh, yeah.
this previous processing day was out of necessity. We had like 40 birds, and we had like 20.
20 of them were roosters.
Yeah.
So
We had to change the flock up a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, we had we raised Cornish cross this year, but we also hatched out a lot of our own laying hens. And we ended up out of those laying hens, a very high percentage of roosters. And so on the day that we harvested our Cornish cross, we had to harvest quite 16 roosters out of
Oh my
all.
goodness.
And I was like, wow, that was a lot. I mean, I know, I mean, it could be that way, but I just didn't expect it. And it was a lot of roosters to put in. Still meat, still good meat. I mean, it's still totally fine.
I
You
think
know,
we were gonna say something. Did you guys use a plucker for them?
We did. We rented it. Actually, our local county extension office had the equipment for rent.
nice.
Okay.
That's
So we were able
great.
to go pick up the scalder, the plucker, and then the cones.
They had the cone station. It was like a commercial setup.
Yeah.
And I think we paid $50 and it was for a whole week.
That is worth it.
Wow.
just for
Yes.
a plucker alone. So, my question that I was going to ask, this is what you're thinking
Okay.
is, so you said your meat birds just free range with your layers because they are dual purpose. Do you have a stationary coop or a portable coop, or what do you do?
We have a stationary coop
Okay.
that we have some electric net around. We haven't built a fence yet because, we've only been here 6 months. We're still trying to figure out where we want to put permanent fence.
Right.
So, we just open the fence when they come out in the morning and let them go. And they run through the woods and, we still have 4 roosters to 18 hens, I think it is.
Okay.
So they're well protected, and dogs and cats and, they all take care of each other.
Yeah, the dogs were, we had backstory. We installed 5-wire fencing around our whole
Perimeter. Yeah.
as not originally, this is over time, but now we got to the point where we had the 5-wire fence all the way around.
Yep.
And we had electric fencing around the chickens in their portable coop. And we built it like a Soliton style.
Yeah.
Slatted
An old hay
floor
wagon.
on an old hay wagon so that the manure, and it moves around the pasture. So despite all of that, and we have a coop that locks up completely, we were having a critter, and I think it was a raccoon
yeah.
or several raccoons, go in at night, reach up between the slats. This was terrible, you guys. Reach up between the slats of the floor in the coop and was pulling the legs off of our hens.
Drunk
Oh,
It was
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
So terrible.
No.
And they were alive, like, just
Yeah.
like was dying slowly.
Oh,
it was
no.
terrible.
Too much detail.
I know, I'm sorry, but these guys can relate. Like, man, this is real. This is real life stuff.
Real life.
And so we're like, that's it. We're getting dogs. We are getting
Yeah.
livestock guardian dogs. And I will say they make all the difference in the whole world
They do.
for us. Huh? So we don't lose critters anymore. They are extremely effective at their job.
Yeah,
so
between that and the fence, I think most thing doesn't like electrified fences when it gets hit by 10,000 volts. So
yeah, that keeps the coyotes away. The 5-wire keeps the coyotes, but it wasn't keeping the raccoons and stuff away. It wasn't keeping the little critters away. So, okay, the question went away, but it's a good question for everybody about what's your favorite thing about being a homesteader or homesteading in general.
I love the self-sufficiency. Like, I think that's always our goal, is just to like keep moving towards being in the store less, and growing more of what we consume, whether it's eating or just using on a daily basis. And so I love that. I feel like every time we accomplish something else or grow something new or whatever, it's like a new level. And so I love that independence, I guess. That's my favorite part.
I don't know. I was kind of roped into this lifestyle.
I love it.
No,
Feel the bus go thump thump.
no. She's initially we started out with a small garden.
Yeah.
We lived in a neighborhood. She wanted a garden. We had a small garden. She wanted chickens, but the neighborhood we lived in wouldn't allow chickens. And she even went to the HOA meeting. It wasn't a big neighborhood. There was probably like 40 houses in it, and they were all large lots. And even though we backed up to the woods and there was really only one neighbor that could see into our backyard, like no chickens. HOA was not having it. So we ended up moving, and then we got chickens. And then I was like, all right, that's it. And my friends make fun of me because I'm like, we're not getting goats. We're not getting anything. Chickens are it. And then we ended up with goats, sheep, ducks, bunch of garden space. And so over time, like, I was kind of pulled into it. And I think what I enjoy most is my job that I do, day in and day out. There's no physical aspect to it, really. It's all mental, and it can be stressful at times. So getting out and like building the raised garden beds and like, just doing like hands-on work is probably like, it's more therapeutic for me than anything. So that's what I enjoy.
That's great.
Sounds like he does farm fit.
Farm fit.
No, I'm far from that. I promise you.
You're just not paying for the CrossFit club. You're doing farm fit.
Yeah.
And for the record, the pigs were his idea. So
Okay.
Yeah, see, you quit talking, you start blaming, pointing fingers, then you're gonna get it like pointed right back at you.
That's great.
I know. I was to blame for dairy cows, so you were to blame for sheep.
Yep. We have a lot of them now, and we're gonna.
Have a lot of them.
Actually, William just got done. He grabbed a sheep by the back of the legs today while we were gone, and he processed out an entire sheep by himself. So
we drove home. We were doing an Azure standard pickup today, and we pull in the driveway, and up on the hoist. That's not the word.
Yeah,
what's it called?
the electric winch. Yep.
I'm like, oh, okay. There's there's a lamb right there. Okay. William got busy. So it's really fun when it's really, really fun as a parent, and those who have older kids can kind of relate to that. But when they start taking responsibility and they're able to actually become super helpful on the farm, it's like a game changer. And it's like, okay, we can actually accomplish a lot as a team. I think it was From the Roots Up made mention about it. Definitely. I think several people actually, that it's a team effort and that everybody helps with everything. And we all have like designated areas, like Julianne does the rabbits, Maurice does all the chickens, ducks, William does sheep, Elise helps with so many different things, cats, dogs, kittens, and all of the
chicken processing, all that stuff, yeah.
I mean, there's so many things. And then everybody helps with everything if there's big projects, but it wouldn't be, I don't think we would have what we have now if everybody didn't participate and kind of like make it a team effort. I don't know, but so let's take the question. We're going to downsize you guys for a second. Let's take the question to From the Roots Up and ask them their favorite part about homesteading.
All right. From the Roots Up.
If you're ready.
I'm just giving a little.
That's okay.
Give them some
I like to not give warnings. I like to be like, boo, we're here. Did you hear the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they cheated by taking our answers before we could give them. But there's a lot of truth to that. Self-sufficiency, just being able to feel the sense of accomplishment, for providing for the needs that we have. There's a podcast that we've listened to before. The slogan is being ready when times get tough, or even if they don't.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Just being able to provide for yourself and the work ethic that comes along with it, because it's not easy. It does take a lot of effort. And so we enjoy that. I enjoy getting out of the office, away from the computer, and being outside and, building, fixing, accomplishing something. I don't get enough of that, but that's what we're working towards. One of these days, I'm going to spend some more time here instead of in the office. But
Absolutely. Anybody else in the room there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think my favorite part is animals.
Our favorite part is animals. I don't know if you can do that.
I'm with you. I love the animals. They're easy. They're happy. They're content. If you feed them, they're
Easy.
They're quiet. Like I said earlier, they don't talk back. They're just, as long as you feed them and give them water, they're like,
Yes.
hey, we're Good. We're cool. They're like, great.
I know for me, I love watching, seeing God's design in nature and just seeing how just all of the systems just work together so perfectly. I don't know, it's really, and of course the self-sufficiency aspect, but I just love, seeing the little bitty seed and growing from it your whole meal from, for in August, you can just go pick everything out of the garden, and it's great.
Absolutely. We were just having a conversation with somebody yesterday, a fellow homesteading family, and we were getting to hear a little bit of their story, and it was really fun because they were saying, I think they started with growing a tomato plant or something little like that, right?
Feeling empowered by the tomato plant.
And eating that first tomato that you grew yourself, because we all have to start somewhere. It's not like, many of the people that are kind of taking on this journey and this lifestyle of homesteading are doing it first generation.
Yeah.
It's because old school farming is different. And like the Homemade Haven, they were talking about, kind of paving the
doing it different in
that area and kind of paving the way in that area. And because old school around us, it's all old school farmers where there's crop planting, and it's not families doing it. It's not raising healthy food. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. If you know kind of what they're putting on the crops and how they're doing this and all of this, right? It's large scale farming. And so it's suddenly when it's in your hands and you're like eating the stuff that you've produced, it really does empower you.
Yeah.
And you're like, we did this, that's how God created it, for that to happen. But unless you experience it, you don't know the joy of it and the benefit of it, to be like, look at what we did, you guys, look at this whole meal, on the table. It's like homemade bread and farm raised chicken and vegetables from the garden. It's just so fun and cool, and such a neat opportunity to experience that with our children.
Yeah.
Do you, Taylor, have something? What's your favorite part?
I'm really not sure. I like my dogs.
She likes her dogs.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I don't even know.
Fair enough.
We are putting her on the spot.
We experienced the same thing. We got our chickens, and we were having trouble keeping chickens, and so we had to go get a livestock guard dog. We have 2 now. They're Kangal crosses, and they do good with everything except the hawks. We're still kind of battling the hawks. But I need to give my dog wings, and then that'll cover everything.
Yeah, you need to find, sound like you need to find a bird dog.
Yeah, exactly. And then we've got a couple of little inside dogs that are just pets, and the girls enjoy all of them.
I like Prep for Eternity. I'm like, we're talking with you guys here, but it's so interesting. Like we were talking with this other family the other day, is remembering the quote unquote humble beginnings. When you first had that dream or you first had that vision, and that little micro thing that you first started off with. And then as you build that dream, and as somebody builds their dream home, way before we get to build our dream home there.
We're thankful for our not so dream home.
We are very thankful, but it just, it just reminds you to, like Annie was talking earlier, it's just, those with littler children, don't try to fly past the years, thinking of when they'll get older and they'll be, hanging their own sheep from the pole barn and doing that work. Cause it's just one of those things that, looking back, we're going to sound old here all of a sudden, but
we are
it's
older.
the time flies though. And all of a sudden you have, your youngest one is 8, your oldest one's 18, and the seasons have shifted just a little bit. And it was really neat to be reminded, even yesterday, like I said, of just remembering the humble beginnings and remembering that first proverbial seed that was planted to kind of get everything going. So
yeah, for sure.
I love hearing these stories.
I do too. And we didn't ask Smarty Pants Eric his answer to the question. I don't know if it's him or Monica answering, but let's go to them and ask them their favorite part about homesteading. They're doing a lot. So
there we go. He's moved to the office here. So.
Okay, there we go. All right. What's your favorite part about homesteading?
Yeah, so normally if anybody sees my live, I usually don't get the opportunity to talk because Monica takes all the time, and she's out there dealing with dinner with the kids. So now I don't know what to do. My opportunity has come.
Well, it's your time to shine. So
I'm nervous. I don't know what to say. No, I mean, I like sitting back and just listening to everybody's answers, and it's interesting how it's kind of all the same way, that it's all about getting your hands dirty and kind of just doing what we were created to do, which is work, and that's for me, being able to build things, but more importantly than just building things is taking the opportunity to teach my kids how to build things. Mm-hmm. And so when they get the opportunity to use tools or to use their brain to figure out how to problem solve through things is truly an amazing thing, So when you're out there working and you're struggling because you're frustrated with something, and then one of the kids are like, "Hey, Dad, why don't we do it like this?" And it's like, "Hey, that's a good idea, man. I'm proud of you for thinking of that." So, but I think, beyond that, really the ultimate dream for us has always been to be able to raise our own food. And, that's a really tough task, especially when you have a large family. And we were able to really kind of zero in on that by just meeting people that were like-minded, that had some really good tips and tricks with different types of animals and things like that. And I did want to say that I don't know what you're doing over there with your birds, but every one of my birds won't shut up through the middle of the night when I'm trying to sleep. And that's one of the biggest mistakes we've made, is we have the chicken coop / duck coop right out behind the master bedroom. And all night long, they're out there chit-chatting and having like a party or something. I'm not sure what's going on.
It's the duck's fault. It's not the chicken's fault. Okay, everyone knows what our ducks sound like. Let's do it all together. Ready? Okay, so that's what they sound like. We didn't rehearse that. We just know that. So that's the ducks. That's what they sound like. And they do it all night long. And I'm always like, you guys, don't be stupid. Be quiet. Like, you're going to get eaten tonight if you keep making noise. Like, rein it in.
Oh, man.
But the ducks are so noisy.
How many times have you, since you started living this lifestyle, have you remembered cartoons or things like that you were like, I thought roosters only crowed in the morning when the sun was coming up, not all through the night. Again, waking me up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, only to find out that there's nothing there.
So my kids think it's really funny. Anyone who's seen the new Peter Rabbit movie, like the first one, has anyone seen that? My kids have. Anyway, the rooster in there is so funny. He's like, can't do it again. Yeah, because he does that all day. That's like all he does. And the Chiefs, anyway. So that's more reality. Whoever wrote that movie knew what
they were
really
had. Yes, that's for sure.
But it is true. But I think a lot of homesteaders homeschool. I don't think everybody does, but being able to have your kids there alongside you, and I mean, in all things is such a blessing. And I know that people say that, and I know that might be like a cliche answer, but having our kids in the short amount of time that we get to be with our kids and raise them and grow them up and spend that time with them, it's like the most valuable thing that any of us could ask for. And it's something that gets dismissed really easily in modern society, but like that is precious. And I'm already like crying on the inside for like when my children leave me. Like I'm like, nobody's in a rush. Like stay as long as you want. Like I'll build a house for you over there. Like you can just stay, and you know we're gonna have like a little compound here.
Yeah. I'll build a shed and call it your dream house. You won't know the difference.
This is your dream tiny house.
Yes.
Okay, so
It's
just
a cool thing now, right? Yeah.
But it was just such a blessing to have them, and then to see what you were talking about, Erica, like the kids, the light bulbs going off, and them just suddenly. I mean, William was out. William did like 4 or 5 things without being asked. Sorry, I'm gonna embarrass you, but took the pumpkins to the compost pile into the garden, and then did this, and then did that, and did that, and I was like, thank you. Like that was awesome, that you just did that. So it's just so cool to see that in our kids, and it's like it's priceless. And I'm sure everybody who's in this situation would agree. Not that there aren't challenging days, but that is just priceless and precious. So
I think every one of us as I've heard everyone mention it in some way, shape, or form, but that idea of being I know the homesteading world uses the word self-sufficient a lot of times, but something that we've championed, as well as that, like this community, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's, social media or the community that we build around us, is, that you really learn that how much the Lord made us to be just really meshed together and use the resources of each other, whether it's our minds or the hands, the creativity and all those things. So sometimes having that large family, there's a lot of creativity that goes on for us to sift through. And, but it's just really neat to see how, that idea of, it's really kind of I don't know, I kind of go back and forth about this, because the idea of being self-sufficient is such a big idea of growing your own food and all those things. But then how much we really want to be tied in with this community as well is such a blessing as well.
And I think it's, that's what the terminology that people use, but really it's more just kind of breaking away from the system, you know, and I think you guys would all agree. I see a lot of head nods for those that aren't up right now, but like, it's just, and I love that idea. I'm thankful for the system, and there's been times where we've needed it in our lives. And, but the freedom of breaking away and being like, I don't have to go, I don't have to go to the store if I don't want to.
Grocery store on hold for the next 2 weeks.
Right. And, and practicing those skills, not even that you have to use them all the time, but kind of reconnecting with those roots and what we were created for. And, learning old ways of doing things. And one of my favorite things is when, we'll call them old timers, because that's like just a great name for it. But like when old timers show up here at the property, and, we're helping them because we have a business here where they come and they get products and different things like that. And they'll be like, this is how I was raised. This is the life. You're never going to regret it. And every time they say that to me, it just blesses me so much. And I'm like, okay, even if it's a tough day, it makes it worth it, to do it, because you're not going to get to take back time, so it's pretty cool.
All right. So I'm going to go into the comments real quick here and just double check to make sure I'm not missing anything. Eric, you've made it on your own. You have a little bit more time if you want to hit any other high points. You're in the solo office there. Make it happen.
Just let it go. It can be therapy 101, whatever you need, man.
Well, let me lay down on the bed then, so I can feel more comfortable.
I'm going to take a nap. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I was going to say real quick too, that teamwork is such a huge thing. And a lot of times when you think about teamwork, you isolate that at work, or you isolate that at, sporting events and things like that. But, the reality is that when you're living on a homestead, any person that is involved with what you're doing is part of that team. Yeah. And it doesn't even necessarily mean who's living under your roof, because on my property, I have my mom and dad. And so my dad, because I do work a full-time job, he is like the mechanic around here. If I have a problem with the four-wheeler, he's working on it. Problem with the tractor, he's working on it. Sometimes I've had electrical issues in the house. I come back home, they're fixed. My mom is helping us can things. But beyond that team aspect, because like you were talking about with with the homesteading piece that you want to be self-sufficient. But when you're tied into a community like this and you find those like-minded people around you, then you realize that the burden is not just on you to create and to build everything or raise everything, because I may be really great at raising cattle because I have the room to do it. Whereas people who don't, and I'm looking at somebody like Jesus Loving Homesteader, they're actually relatively close to where we live, where we've been able to share with them and they've been able to share with us. And it's been a great thing to be able to just call each other or text each other and say, hey, I need to borrow this. Do you have this tool? Or, you know, I'm working on this in the garden. What do you normally do? Because this isn't working for me.
Right.
And to be able to balance, I mean, that's the idea for me for teamwork when you live a life like this.
Absolutely. Agree 100%. I love the idea. Like, you know, if you could get enough people like in your local area, you know, you're like, okay, you do beef and I'll do this, you know, and you do that. And then you can be like, just like your own little, you know, supplier for the community. And it's like, if you really worked as a team,
let everyone do everything. Let everyone do their little thing very well and let them run with it. Right.
Yeah. Cause we weren't meant to be an island, right? We're to work together. And yeah, it's really fun to see it when it works like that. So.
All right.
All right, you guys, this was so fun. Thank you so much. Everyone, let's see. Let's do one more. Yeah, bring everybody in. Hold up your gingerbread houses. I'm not going to declare a win.
Yeah, look at Eric. He's like, I got nothing.
We'll all like boo and hiss, you know. Like.
Well, does it really matter? I mean, we saw the masterpieces that were showcased earlier with glass windows and stuff. I mean, come on.
That was just Julianne. I couldn't do that if I wanted to, but there you go. We'll show it to you again, Eric, just in case you wanted to see it, you know. Yeah. But I'm a big fan. Look at the tractor and the barn. This was so cute, the little barn. I don't know how she got that to stay up, the homemade haven here.
It was a kit.
Oh. The truth comes out.
The truth comes out.
No, it's such a cute kit. And then we had the town, which we can't see anymore because they're all eating dinner at Eric's house. And then from the roots up, we got them here with I love the garden. I think they're all good, but I think the garden is my favorite part.
It's a sweet garden.
It is a sweet garden. That's right.
Dad jokes, love it.
Yeah, you're really good at bad dad jokes. That's for
Really,
sure.
really bad dad jokes.
All right. Well, we appreciate everyone who's on. Not only, you know, you guys, you know, Eric and Monica, the Homemade Haven, from the roots up. Did everybody have a YouTube channel? I know we asked the first two. Did we? Eric and Monica, did we ask them?
Bland's Promise Ranch.
Okay. Promised Land Ranch.
Yes,
okay, so go check them all out, and we just really appreciate.
Look at that! Everyone gets a participation award.
Penny, it's too nice. Just say that Julianne won. Yes. Okay, I'll pay you later. All right. We gotta claim some of our diehards here, right? Right. All right. We're gonna roll. I can roll this real quick here, and we can say good night to it all. Right. So anyway, we appreciate everyone jumping on here, especially on a Friday night. And those of you who are getting snow, sorry, North Carolina, and Texas. Sorry, you guys. You're 2%. I'm a little nervous for you.
Shut everything down.
Mute that one.
No, it'll pop off.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, Rachel, you'll have to watch the playback. We got to see everybody's doing. So anyway. Thank you all so much for being a part of this, and we appreciate you jumping on. It was good to get to know everybody, and we hope that everyone has just a blessed holiday season and time together with your family, which is the most important if you can. So, thank you guys. Goodbye. Merry Christmas, you guys.